Yo, what's up, guys? Terrell here to bring you Bakuman Season 2, Episode 3, where they spent the entire time focusing on Nakai, which I had no problem with, and we actually got a little bit of development for Aoki by the end of it. I also found out her last name is Yuri. I'm very tempted to call her Yuri because that's easier to remember, but knowing that no one else in the anime calls her Yuri, it would be kind of pointless. Now, I'm going to try to do this a little differently. Instead of just recapping the episode, just actually kind of what I've been doing with the Pokemon episode reviews is just really talk about the episode. I mean, essentially, to me, the whole struggle they did with Nakai and, riding outside of Koi's windows, Aoki's window for like numerous days, willing to risk his life for her just to get the opportunity to work with her again. To me, that is one of my favorite things in shonen manga. Is that when you have a character when you have characters who are so passionate about what they believe in that they're willing to risk their lives for it, it's awesome. Now, you have the Naruto aspect, which is essentially, it's ridiculous in itself. But I like Bakuman for the fact that it's more of a realistic version of it. You could see a character, like, sitting out in the snow is dangerous shit. Getting pneumonia, freeze to death and shit. I mean, it doesn't seem like much because, we've seen characters, cut their arms off and, do ridiculous shit, but this is the more realistic, and this is why I can kind of relate to Bakuman a little bit more in certain levels. Then I just like Nakai as a character. I also like how they're making Nakai's relationship with Aoki seem more realistic. You know how in harems you have like the unattractive guy with the girls, whereas in this one he's actually gonna have to work for it, like you would have to do in any other relationship. I know that's not really the biggest point of Bakuman, but I'm just throwing it out there as a hint. I mean, because they've already mentioned the fact that this series is half love-based anyway. I mean, you got the Azuki and Psycho and, Shujing and Kaya, which I'm thinking when the Iwasei shit shows up later, from what I keep seeing in the opening, that's gonna challenge the relationship, which would be pretty interesting. But, I mean, from what I hear, Jertango said that this wasn't, at least when he said when he saw the preview for this before it came out, he said he didn't remember this directly, so this could possibly be filler. Except for probably the portions that relate to Psycho and Shujin, with Trap's first chapter getting 3rd place and then the 2nd chapter getting 8th place and shit. Because, I mean, I could see it possibly being filler because the shit with Nakai is resolved within that episode. But even if it is filler, it did develop Aoki's character a little bit. Not greatly, but a little bit. It made her seem more like a realistic character because up until this point, she kind of seemed like a tight ass. I mean, she still seems like a tight ass, honestly. But at least now you can see that she humbled herself through watching Nakai work so hard and being able to accept her own faults. That, maybe the reason why her manga didn't, get accepted for the serialization meeting wasn't because of the artwork. Maybe it was because I mean, Aoki always wanted to be in shonen, so it was like, if your shit isn't a little shonen, how can you call it a shonen? And that's how it was. I mean, they keep even saying in the anime that her shit would do better as like a girl's manga because it's not. Like, there has to be some type. I kind of wish they would go back a little bit deeper to see why she wants it to strictly be shonen and not a shoujo, just out of curiosity. And that's what kind of makes me think this is filler. But even if it is filler, it's good filler. But I do want just to put this on record for future episode reviews. I would kind of prefer people didn't tell me if the episode is filler or not. At least not until I finish everything, because to me that kind of takes me out of it a little bit, and I want to enjoy the 2nd season as much as I enjoy the 1st season. You can say look forward to the next part. I think a lot of people are looking forward to the next episode because the next episode features that dude. I still can't remember his fucking name because I only heard it once. It's featuring around the guy who acts all depressed about actually writing manga and shit. And apparently it's going to be an episode dedicated to him, Fukuda, and Nizuma. Which is the one thing I'm loving about the 2nd season, that the 2nd season is focusing on other characters. Whereas like the 1st season focused on Psycho and Shujin and their road to get serialized. They're focusing on and they didn't start focusing on other characters in the 1st season until like halfway through. With this season, they're actually, starting off focusing with other characters. The 1st episode was dedicated to Psycho and Shujin, and then the 2nd episode kind of went into, kind of went into their, it's still focusing on Saiko and Shujin, but kind of focusing more onto their assistants and shit. And then the third episode, loosely based around Saiko and Shujin, but more focused on Nakai and Aoki and them strengthening their bond as a team, because they're the only other duo-based manga team besides Saiko and Shujin. And I really like Nakai, but they don't. To me, I'm hoping there's a lot of more development for Aoki for me to like her. I mean, she's all right, but there's not much to her. So we honestly would just have to wait and see. But I thought this was a really good episode. Even if it is filler, I think it's a really good episode. But I'm recording this in 1080p just for the sake of it, because I haven't used this webcam for a video in a while. Just tell me your thoughts and your comments on the comment section below. Nakai for the motherfucking win. That nigga became a boss. Like, I swear to God, I fell in love with that character kind of through this episode. But this has been the Vlogs Again from your boy Terrell, and I will catch you guys later for the next Bakuman Season 2 episode review. Peace out.